This is Zebe Saber, Post-Alchemist on FB. This is a I died and came back to life version of the rap. And I know my wife Grimes is gonna be mad I chose a different song than any of her discography. It's so stupid because we're both musicians, so she should like to know my music taste in general too. I love ambient, fucking warpy stuff like this, and Burial, and Fortet, and all that sort of stuff, obviously, even though it's kind of basic for electronic music name drops, but it's been that way since high school, just like my love for her music. So I died and came back to life. There's no afterlife, guys. And I'll just quote, so if anyone's seen it, I said something like, y'all are the motherfucking poachers, and I'm the motherfucking elephant. And you're hunting me because you're afraid of your own giantness. And that's a quote from my book, Elephant Tusk. Basically, it's available in the real version on Facebook, so obviously it's me. And I'm an ordinary creature like all creatures. All animals on this planet are naturally vegetarian. They are absolutely, it's a tragedy for all of them that they have to carnivorize each other. Violence is a disease. I'm a non-violent creature. But if someone ever tries to hurt me, I'll jab them in the fucking cock. It's a natural protective mechanism. No woman would try to do that unless they're horny for me. Even if she's watching, I almost need a restraining order at this point. She needs to process that things are over, as well as all these other women. Grimes really has slaughtered all 8 billion women on the earth. Look, I died and came back to life, and I still love Grimes. So I'm the most hell-bent mystic ever on understanding everything, as I keep repeating, because I do have a few teachings for you, because that's the only way you can process me as some sort of holy man, even though I say there's no afterlife, and I mean it. There's just absolutely nothing. And somehow you have to know how resilient I am, that I'll just say, so everyone knows it's me once again. After I came back, I walked down the street. I went to this GO station bus stop in Halifax. I sat there. I got sprayed with a quadruple dose of cyanide from some paramilitary organization in Afghanistan that for some reason had a front, and it doesn't even make sense, even by their terms. Why do they have some guy working in a gas station? He can't even do anything. And basically, he thought I was some robotic zombie because everyone in Halifax even knows that I died. I got sprayed with nerve gas after yelling into a CCTV camera for hours. They cleared the streets, they drove me out like a pest, and they sprayed me with nerve gas. I got hunted into some park, and I don't remember anything, but it's all intuitive. So people really need to listen to me on the off chance that what I'm saying is true, but don't look at me like a fucking guru. Gurus don't exist. I'm 100% certain of many things now. Every guru is a con man. And UG Krishnamurti said that, but I've taken a step beyond, motherfucker. He said that as more of a koan, but I'm actually 100% certain that every guru all throughout history has been a con man. Every mystic all throughout history has done tons of drugs. You can even test this. So here's more homework historically. Also, since for these guys that have anxiety attack every 5 seconds, they're listening to me, editing my IP, taking my messages for my wife Grimes and selectively choosing which ones go to her. They shouldn't even be hearing this. I'm talking quietly. The volume is on 10 on this TV. Humor still exists after death for me, and not for any of you guys, so don't test it. I basically wanted to see how necessary I am in the universe, so I killed myself. And it wasn't intentionally, but I knew I had to do it to know. And I'm taking this music as an example. It's creating a beautiful vibe. But I'm so objective that even though this is just some concourse of random events in the universe, it's not some meaningful thing blasting from above, guys. It's vibrations happening in the body. Music isn't from some other dimension. It's a natural force. It will take probably thousands of years to measure it because it comes from some sort of spectrum of UV light that's outside of the human range. And I can actually sense nature. The best thing I've done in my organism is become an evolved being that can actually sense what the natural world actually is like. You can't use me for any military means, any agency. You can't use me for anything. Money can't even touch me, but I don't even need money. I'm so innocent and pure that please don't hurt me or kill me. You guys need me. You really do. But not like that. And I want to say wife, just so even though she's not on the screen, because she's going to be pissed that it's not a theme 100% about her. So she even needs me as a guru. Just tell her to look at it like that, because for some reason all her friends are probably around her trying to steal me because they think I'm the best lyricist ever after I said Charlie XCX has a dirty pussy. I don't even know what Charlie XCX looks like. I jerked off to her for like 10 seconds. A blob image that wasn't her from an Instagram post and thought about cheating on Grimes, so I atoned for my sins 1,000-fold since she needs some sort of sin or some sort of guilt or some sort of complex for us to fight so she can talk to me just because she still has this celebrity ego when no one around her even thinks about it that way. Basically, I'm the greatest revolutionary mystic of all time. Is that I've had many experiences that are the first time experiences in human history. But people, when I say stuff like this, they start looking up to me like they want to bow down to me. But I'm just some guy. And I want to say that, I'll say something Canadian so these guys don't have a fucking anxiety attack. Yeah, I want to say to keep selectively choosing which messages go through, which videos go through. I will ask someone to press charges if that's true. I don't even check, so just let me. If they're getting hungry in another room, they're not supposed to hear me. So I really will. So they need to relax. But basically, I want to say something for historians, even though I don't care about history. The past is real in some way I don't want to talk about because there's so many delusions about it. Eckhart Tolle is completely wrong. The future is entirely real. It's one of the most influencing things on every aspect of reality. They can start to measure it through tachyons. I'm a future worker. I work with the future at all times. Even if I die, I've set it up in such a way that everything I've done can't be undone. And that also proves it's me because I said that before. And I basically said the CIA is the scourge of the earth and fuck them for killing my dad. My dad is still probably alive based on my intuition in some Moscow base with Philip K. Dick, my favorite author. Me and Phil K. Dick are the most realistic writers of all time, even though I've gone far beyond him with my book Elephant Tusk. My favorite novel is The Ballast, other than my own work, because it started to do what I try to do. Basically, Robert Anton Wilson and a bunch of other mystics have been setting up this thing for a detonation and zoological termination, alphabetical termination of every form of belief system and delusion. I'm the only human being that only cares about truth above all else. My next experimental science project is whether true love can exist. And they're even editing my phone right now, trying to fuck with it and turn the live stream off just because I said they're trying to take messages to my wife, selectively edit them, and try to basically set up their son for stardom even though he has no talent. And everyone in my life right now, they're trying to rise to fame instantly just because they know I'm going to marry Grimes, even if she didn't know who I was, which she certainly does by this point. Because I keep coming on to her every second of the day on every social media platform where I've ever been perceived as anybody to look up to. And somehow, that, even though I'm literally not even concerned. I would say not thinking, since that garble and a fix and a lobe makes sense to you. Not even concerned with anyone else but her, but I will say I'm aware on some level of what I'm doing to all these people who have looked up to me, even though they can't admit it, and they all tried to kill me for various reasons because they were cowardly about reading my book, like they're cowardly about taking fucking mushrooms. It's the same sort of thing. You're afraid of something because it means something in this world, and that's human psychology. But y'all motherfuckers are human beings and something else. I'll just put it that way. To make sense to you. And I'm not an extraterrestrial since we think of things sci-fi. I'm just someone who's mutated their being in some way. I'm not in the same state of being as you. I've had to go to ridiculous lengths to prove this. And I want to say this, I have to say this now. I've sensed everything is acting. I say I'm not in the state of being of you. This is why I say psychiatry is anti-evolutionary. As soon as someone enters another state of being, they try to lock them up, give them violent medications that fuck them over with a rudimentary understanding of neuropsychology. And even everything I say would completely decimate them because they know it's all true in their context of over-analysis. And even if they hear this now, they'll immediately contextualize a bunch of things perfectly because I've simplified everything. And yeah, I died and came back to life. I knew it was going to happen. I've had it happen in incremental layers, and now I'm trying to prove true love because I'm not sure, more than anything else, whether it's possible to have a healthy human relationship. You can cry about it. As I say, some people cry and some people laugh. And I want to say, for a historical note on Canada, it's a complicated history here. I keep joking, the most fascist time in my life is the last 3 or 4 months in fucking Canada. It's fucking hilarious. It's true though. Trudeau clapped some random buildings full of people trying to make me rescue them apparently, but they were all red room runners and human traffickers. Turns out I'm the most radical feministic of all time. I might as well just say I shut down the rings. Everyone knows Zebra did it. I'm fucking Zebra, obviously. And you're not fucking Zebra unless you're Grimes. And yeah, so Canada, here's something interesting here for his homework for historians. Not that I care about fucking history, I don't. But they're probably gonna watch this at some point. That's why I'm saying I'm a future worker. Even if I died at any point, the way I've set it up is gonna revolutionize everything and obliterate everything zoologically and alphabetically. And by obliterate, I mean every delusion and deception. I'm totally against human deception, but it's apparently an innovation that I'm a completely honest human being. An innovation for a entire species. I'm 100% certain that humans are lying every second of every day. I like the human species less and less. There's this guy, Jason Gallagher. I knew he needs to accept our friendship is forever over. He's gone to immense lengths to say he is my true soulmate, like a bunch of people. Even say he's a transsexual inside and all these things. He's not even. He does not even identify as that. Him and Casey Jones are one of the worst fucking examples of this. They can't even have this copyright strike or anything. It shouldn't be illegal to say anything. You need to be able to say things to be honest. You need to be able to say wrong things, stupid things, harmful things, and unpleasant things in order to learn to be honest in this world. So there's a teaching, since that card will make sense to you. And yeah, people watching this are going to want to say things to me even though we have no relationship. There are actual relationships in space and time. Everyone I come into contact to wants some close relationship. I don't like close relationships, to be bluntly. I like solitude. I want to be with my wife and family, and when I feel like it, I'll talk to other people. It's possible to be worldwide famous. I need to be famous so I can skyrocket, as I say, my motivation, love, and love. There's one type of love that's me and Grimes, and there's another type of love that's my love for the planet. Obviously, the planet will always come first, famous and planet. I call our planet Sophia. She needs a more beautiful name. Earth is too sci-fi now. And a lot of things that people say are science fiction. Like Donald Marshall's whole thing, where he thought his consciousness was being transferred to a reptilian base camp with the Queen of England and a bunch of carnivorous beings that had clone models in a fucking series of military bases. But there actually are clone centers where they torture clones. This world is run by sadomasochists and murderers. It's like Westworld. But they can't touch me. They might as well even try at this point because they're so modern, but they don't even want to. Just think of me as a holy man if it will protect me, whatever. Everyone can feel my energy all the time, it's me. I'm nature incarnate, not God incarnate or anything. That doesn't exist. And you're also nature, but you have some sort of separation structure inside of you called thinking. Thinking really means overthinking. And I think with my whole nervous system, not my brain, you can't separate the brain and body. It's one of the most important things I have to say. And yeah, I love Grimes, born Clarice Boucher. Something on the history of Canada. I like doing things non-linearly like this. Is better because the unconscious brain, they can measure this too. Some homework processes things non-linearly. And the unconscious is more capable of processing information than what we call the conscious. The consciousness does not exist, but awareness exists. Awareness, as U.G. Krishnamurti says, is a property of a living organism. It has to be developed. You have to develop awareness. And that means develop the ability to be in tune with the entire environment. Not to say be present, because you can be aware too for the future. Precognition is possible. You'll need mushrooms. And I had the last mushroom experience I had was about a year ago in Portland. I only took about a gram. And the mushrooms, I basically got the feeling, which people feel like it's mushrooms communicating with them. They'll even eventually be able to measure that whenever you eat a plant of any type or even an animal or anything, there's sort of a bisentience or dual sentience that happens inside the body. The body makes things more sentient that come into it. This is a big measure of health. Sentience is an emergent property. The earth is sentient, planet Sophia is sentient, and that's why we're sentient. There's a basically unfolding layers of sentience, and so when you eat mushrooms, they become sentient, more sentient with you, because it's the same thing as like a fractal thing, if that makes sense to you, through that garble inside of Pix, inside of Lobe. And it's something on the history of Canada. um, it's funny because they keep trying to redirect me just because they want one thing, even something about Canada. And basically, if people came over, I don't give people rights to my information because I want them to actually develop their being and not just use it for money and fame. I need money and fame, but it's not my motivation. My motivation is love. It really is. I've been said zebra love for years. And the reason I did, and now I'm just zebra, I'm Justin J. Haver, Zeb Saver, Zebra Love, Zebra Kindred, Z on old Tinder accounts I deleted and never did anything on. It was also a Cohen of some sort. Cohen means something, but even that feels outdated to me because I'm a new type of human being. And it's funny because I can't say anything even sincere and honest about what I'm doing, because then everyone says it's too megalomaniacal because they are megalomaniacal. I would say megalomaniacal because that's like a maniac thing. That's how shadow projection works. You see whatever you see through judgment. I don't judge anyone, but I say things that people perceive as judgmental just because there is an objective good and evil. If you're good, you don't harm innocents, you don't harm innocent creatures, you don't do anything harmful, and you align yourself with the best future for all sentient beings. It requires some level and degree of awareness. And you have to develop that. You need mushrooms, you need my book Elephant Tusk as an instrument. It's like mushrooms for neurolinguistics, the reverse engineering school of neurolinguistics, as I call it. It's something on the history of Canada. To bring it back down to Earth a bit more, as you put it, but I'm not on Earth, I'm on planet Sophia. And I don't mean that about my ex-girlfriend Alwyn, who needs to leave me alone. I love Grimes. And so did Jason Gallagher and Casey Jones, then he'll leave me alone. All these people from my past need to leave me alone. They're really in my past. Immortal Wifey Grimes exercise unforgiving and exact. Supreme judicial. Exact wifey law. But please spare my little brother Joel and Owen. They're like my little siblings, but I don't want anything to do with them probably for 20 years now with everything they're doing, even now. And the most ridiculous thing is Joel's doing it just over his ego over a YouTube channel when he could just improve his ability to make art. The worst thing about Joel's art is he has no insight. I'm his biological brother. I know him. He has no insight into human nature. And he thinks his ultimate insight is about sentimentality and relationships. That's just based on his basic watching of sad movies. That's all. It's that simple. And about his mourning over some things that don't even relate to anything but himself. That's how mourning works. And how negative emotions work. I don't have any negative emotions. I'm not like you confused motherfuckers. As I said, I don't get tired. I get malnourished. I don't get stressed. I get tensed. I'm not organic. And so the end of history of Canada. So they keep trying to redirect me. I said this one thing and they think it's a gold mine. That's how people think. They're businessmen. These guys have been fucking fighting for years. If I'm wrong or right, it doesn't matter. I'm alone in my hotel room. No one should be listening to me and eavesdropping. Apparently I'm paid up for a month. They haven't even told me if that's true. And honestly, something to history of Canada, it came a lot from the Pilgrims and Christopher Columbus after a genocide of the American Indians. There was not a war, it was a genocide. The land does not belong to the Indians, so even the Indians understand better than anyone that the earth does not belong to anyone. Planet Sophia does not belong to anyone. Nature is a free-form, anarchic, decentralized, self-sustaining, self-organizing principle, and Mark Zuckerberg is trying to take that one insight from me. They're all trying to take it. It doesn't feel good to take someone else's insight. It doesn't feel good. Feeling is the true intelligence, not thought. I'll put that simply, that even feels less innovative than I'm becoming. And I constantly do this thing where I squiggle outlines that feel old and retired and I do new things. That's how I constantly keep myself evolving, because language is the brain. It's not language is the world, like McKenna said. This guy McKenna pretended to take 5 grams. He wanted to see if anyone would do it. You can even confirm this. He never took 5 grams in his life of mushrooms. He really didn't. His brother Dennis, who'll probably watch this at some point, he'll even confirm this guy was one of the most hypocritical guys ever. He was just completely verbose and brilliant, but nothing he said really meant anything because he was addicted to his DMT. I always say LSD freaks and DMT freaks because I know these people that only do LSD and DMT, it doesn't develop their being like mushrooms do. That's why people are afraid of mushrooms. They physiologically mutate you, and the best way it attunes you to the environment is reparative and restorative for some sort of evolutionary hiccup in the human species. Post-Alchemist said as a joke he wasn't sure that psilocybin mushrooms in the Pacific Northwest grow around courthouses and legal buildings and federal tax buildings and stuff like that. I quoted that and then cite him in some paper I wrote at Evergreen State College. He was furious about it for no reason. I might have actually said him, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I did. But he just was reading that right now, and that can be confirmed after to prove intuition, or if it's not proven, it doesn't matter. It's still brilliant what I'm saying, and I know that. It's okay to say you're brilliant if what you're saying is self evidently brilliant. So there's a teaching since that girl built inside a node, inside a lobe makes sense to you. And now everyone's realizing I died and came back to life, so they're gonna look at me as holy, but Io Beltran Pacheco, since she's also trying to change her name, and that's not even her real name in her original language, because they're all trying to get me struck down for using their names. She needs to leave me alone. She had some retarded notion of us going to a ley line pyramid in Gaza or something and being worshipped by 144,000 New Agers. I'm not a fucking New Ager. New Agers are idiots. And I feel like one of the most intelligent things I can possibly say right now is just to call people idiots. And you understand things aren't that complicated. They're not complicated the way you imagine they are. They're complicated, obviously, structurally. The universe is incredibly complex. It's going to take millions of years to understand the universe. If you think you understand The universe is actually a universe. I always used to make fun of the word universe because I actually started seeing things as a multiverse based on a bunch of parallel information structures in human beings. It was a metaphor for how human beings are so split up in reality. But I keep evolving. My perspective and message keeps evolving. I don't stop. I'm hell bent on understanding anything at any cost. That's why I said I killed myself just to see how necessary it was. That was my actual motivation. I'm not, you need to understand that if you want to say you understand me at all. That's my actual motivation. And I see things that humorously. It is humorous to me. And um, but don't take it too literally because then it will freak you out because you're incapable of processing even someone who says something slightly differently than you perceive things. That's what it amounts to. Or even negatively. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying things. And everyone wants a basic instant rise to fame just because I'm gonna marry Grimes. Not them deserve it. I deserve this. You don't know what I've gone through for your asses. And not like that, because I don't care about your asses, boys, girls, tomboys, transsexuals, and homosexuals of all kinds. I only care about Grimes' ass, Shinigami Kiki. Um, yeah, I died and came back to life. And skyrocket me already, babe. I'm not here for fame or glory or anything. That's not it's motivation that matters. My motivation, basically, to put it frankly, is to save the human species from their own retardation. I call it retardation bluntly because that's what it actually is on every level, because retardation means lagging behind. As I put in a timeline theory, there's a discrepancy between the time perception of the brain and the rest of the time perception of the body. What that means is the brain sees time on a bit slower actually than the rest of the body. People think that the brain sees time faster because it feels hyperactive. No, the body perceives time at a constant rate. It's extremely fast perception. It's a high sensory rate. And the brain sees time slower. And they need to be synchronized. You need to develop awareness. It's an evolutionary awareness. And also, I completely renounce my ex mother and ex stepfather. They basically are hell bent on making everyone think I'm disabled, which at this point is so ridiculous with everything I'm saying. They told this entire town and everyone I'm schizophrenic. I'm not. I'm clearly not by even the classical metric. There's so many reasons I'm not. For one thing, I'm not antisocial. I can go out in public. What the classical metric means is you can't go out in public. You're basically catatonic. It's on a scale, but it wouldn't even measure. I just don't like basically going out and talking to people for no reason. I don't like hanging out with strangers, contrary to Canadian wisdom. And I know my wife does like that in her head, but she doesn't really like it. She just feels like she has to, just like she feels like she has to explain to everyone why I'm so worthy to be with her. But none of them even care. Yeah, she's been doing stuff like this her whole life. She pays people to go around with her in videos. It's adorable and look like she's the cheerleader pop queen. I say these things not to be mean to her, but to make her aware. Because if she's going to be my wife, which she is going to be, I insist on it, then she is going to become more aware. I'm like a mushroom spore in the universe. And they'll find out a bunch of sci-fi things that I said. They're already scouring for him. So I'll just say one, because they're hell bent on finding everything I've ever said instead of reading my book. That's how stupid people are. Particularly calling out Saisev and Sam Hardung and Bromir because they rip off my work, put it on other websites, and use it for political means. And Saisev, your Buddhism is a political mean. It has the most violent history of any religion, even more than Christianity. Uh, Dawkins has some sort of atheistic pedo ring, probably. I'm just gonna say probably, so it doesn't matter. And I said Dawkins, so not his full name. The science has been in some long war with religion, and it's become so ideological that I said in the other video, the Higgs boson is fabricated. You can find this. It's important because the universe did not start with a Big Bang. Believe it or not, the universe has always been here. It doesn't have an origin. It's an infinite universe. It's always been here. It doesn't need to have an origin. That's just based on human thought. And yeah, it doesn't have an end or beginning. The human species can have an end and a beginning. So please care about the species. Don't just care about your own life. But in order to do that, you need mushrooms. You need to develop your awareness. These people are actually delusional. Everyone's delusional about mushrooms. I can say people should take mushrooms. They actually have so many health benefits that are already measurable. They basically increase neuroplasticity, increase brain cells, and grow new brain cells. It's a different species of brain cells. I'll repeat that everything is different species. Even atoms have different species. Molecules have different species. Quantum subparticles have different species. People have anxiety attacks every 2 seconds because they're listening to me for no reason when I'm in a hotel room. They're trying to act like I'm being too loud. I'm not. The TV volume is on like 10. I'm basically whispering on all this. So my voice is weird. It is funny, but at this point it's just ridiculous. I just want to be left alone and allowed to make my work and be with my wife and children and make a bunch of amazing art. She's an idiot if she chooses Moscow for money. I have infinite reason. I'm wealthy in insight and even scientific knowledge. I say a few things on Facebook I'll just quote for purposes because I'm being blocked out on basically every media platform, most of all by fucking assholes. um, Basically, the Earth is trillions of years old, like I said. The universe has no beginning or end. And they, yeah, this are finding out their Higgs boson really was fabricated. There's no such thing as space. There's no such thing as empty space. Nothing is empty. They said atoms are empty. They're not even empty. They even made that up just to do some sort of sci-fi thing about emptiness in Buddhism. It was basically a big military funding thing. That's how things operate in this world. Nothing's been reported accurately. There's always some sort of private interest. Basically, the only accurate reporting nodule in the universe right now is me, in terms of humans. There's intelligent life on a bunch of other planets. They measured it. I made first contact too. I might as well just say it doesn't matter if it's true. It doesn't. I don't believe anything. That's a metric of objectivity, and it should be even more of a metric. It's basically the main metric of objectivity. Should be whether you take certainty in the brain based on any perception, completely literally in the moment of thinking it. So there's homework for psychologists. I'm not trying to destroy psychiatry. I'm trying to improve everything. Everything can be realigned with planetary reality. That's all I do. You don't have to destroy infrastructure. You don't even have to destroy religion, but it should be basically. It's so poisonous. There's no reason for it. There's no afterlife. There's no soul. U.G. Krishnamurti said this, and he meant it. I consider him the closest mystic to what I'm doing, but it's not even close, to be honest. I'm shutting down the rings. They all know this by this point, so it doesn't matter. If they kill me, it doesn't matter. People die all the time. But I don't want to die. I want to live and be with my wife and children, so please don't hurt me. I'm an innocent being, and you need me. And yeah, there's no such thing as space. It's everything is organic fibers. Even in the center of atom, they'll eventually be able to measure that it's nothing but fiber. And this guy Adam Frewer is trying hellbent to say he took my singularity. It doesn't even make sense. The singularity is linked directly to me putting Elephant Tusk, my book, into ChatGPT 4.0. I already said this in a video. At this point, it's ridiculous. They're all just hellbent on being famous. Most of the people that are hellbent on being famous in my life are literal killers. I'm against killers. Violence is a disease. I've never killed anyone. They're gonna try to say this in Portland because this Kim family is having anxiety attack trying to cover up the fact they're a cannibal restaurant, apparently. I don't say things certainly, so I'm not making accusations since that's weirdly a law that you can't just make an accusation. It doesn't even mean anything, you're just saying something. Free speech has been protected since 1942 by a bunch of peace treaties and conventions, guys. It has the whole legal system has to be reoriented because technically every politician on earth is a war criminal by the Geneva Convention, which wasn't just some meeting. It has some basic global fucking legal thing that happened. Every politician on earth is basically a quadruple fucking homicide war criminal. Like a million felonies. By their own legal standards. And hilariously, I'm the biggest anarchist ever. I've never broken a law except taking mushrooms when I was a teenager in Belchertown, Massachusetts. It's out of the statute of limitations. And any even way they could have measured it would have been illegal. The Halifax Police Department hired some girl to fake her death to say I killed her in a fender bender in 2013 or 14 or 15 or something, going 20 miles an hour around a turn. This is how things are operating in this world. It's so ridiculous. They went down to Massachusetts from Canada. and, and basically they also edited, they even want me to say this, I'm sure, because they considered their comedic masterpiece, they edited a bunch of phone calls with my mother and a bunch of other people, edited transcripts and put some Hispanic police officer, even made Hispanic police officer at the Airbnb to explain why I got arrested, because it was the stupidest arrest ever. I was just at an Airbnb. They actually changed the day. They can check into this if they need to. The court date's already been dropped to be 1 day later to pretend I was there longer than I needed to be. They never called me. I was just at Airbnb. I opened the door and said, "Oh, my cousin Jordan is buying this place. I can be there." I never checked. It doesn't matter if it's true. I was just saying something. I didn't even have an arrest warrant. I went back in and went to call someone. They knocked again. I literally opened the door for them and they tried to kill me. They can look at the actual tapes. They hit every pressure point trying to kill me. It's a classic thing of neutralizing someone. And they were trying to suffocate me. There was like 7 officers. I'm a hippie. Man. Immortal wifey Grimes, please act exact and unforgiving. Martial wifey law and all my heart abusers as I do for you, because hopefully all the information has reached you by now. Musketeer abuser, you paid off all your friends enormous fees to fuck behind your back, because all these billionaires have to constantly keep this ego reflex going to make themselves feel good about their lives. Same with serial killers and sadomasochists in general. That's why bathtub methamphetamine is one of the worst things on earth. It's all bathtub methamphetamine. The pure methamphetamine, you have to know chemists. I only did meth like once in my life, but I have to say pure methamphetamine, just because I'm intuitive, it's not that bad of a chemical. It's also not that great or necessary. I like Adderall. I know the Adderall realm completely and the mushroom realm completely, so I want that to be a big theme in my next book, Island of Sleeping Gods, or how scams and sales turn the earth into a human zoo of fuckery. Don't kill me. One of the main reasons I want to keep writing and creating things is my main drive in life, really. That's why I'm so compatible with Grimes. It's always so her main drive in life. She wants to be the best musician ever. That's her true dream. And I'm gonna make it come true. My true dream was to be the most unique artist and writer ever, and it's already true. Please read my actual book, Elephant Tusk, on my Facebook on a jump share link, and I'll post in the comments and description. It got ripped off by Steve B in South Africa. It's not his real name, so I can say that. He made some sunny day version about a monkey that was representing a gimp suit just because I didn't come see him in South Africa when I made a tangential promise. These are how people are treating each other. You say a tangential thing that can basically become circumstantially impossible, and they hold it over you for years. Narendra in Australia faked a cardiac arrest. As I already said, people need to understand this. Trying to turn everyone against me, saying he doesn't understand the value of a true friend. And then everyone tried to kill me over it. This is how things are operating in this world. I'm not giving any statements about any of this. It's unnecessary. These are my statements. I don't even know if any of it's true. I'm just saying things. And I'm completely happy and healthy. So on every objectivity metric, I'm completely sane. They've already cleared me. That's like one of the main things in every behavioral health clinic around, and every behavioral health measure is to be happy as a measure of reality. And it doesn't even make sense because most of these psychologists are completely unhappy. This is how things are operating. And this keeps going. I might as well just finish this in some way. Yeah, like I said, all animals are vegetarian. Get them goji berries, please, to start with. They hate having to carnivorize each other. You can measure this. Even there's underwater berries. I helped discover the deep ocean. They haven't announced it yet. There's so many rare species on Earth. There's about 4.5 billion undiscovered animal species on the Earth. And you need to protect them. And these life forms are irreplaceable. Things don't come back. It's not an eternal return. Things don't come back. They don't go forward. Things do not come back. Please internalize this. Yeah, the Earth, I keep saying, there's been a whole other human species on the Earth before it's trillions of years old. That's the homework forever for archaeologists because they're already you're just gonna say it's gonna make so much more sense with the fossil records. I might as well just say the accurate origin of species on the off chance that it's true. Since it's on my Facebook, they're already trying to take credit for this. It's known in some circles of the upper echelon, which just means people who have a lot of money and destroy the environment. The accurate origin is that there are some other species. It's basically a reptoid or reptilian species. They're the most peaceful species on the planet. They're gonna discover it soon, so I might as well just say they're under the surface of the earth. They're basically shamanic. They're completely in touch with the sentience of the planet. And they basically genetically designed the human species based on an early species of primate. It was an accidental experiment. They needed some sort of nutrient, and it altered the gene code of the human species. And which started as a primate species, but that's how the mutation actually occurred. There's some evolutionary jump. They don't know how it occurred. That's how it occurred. They had to go under the earth because the early human species was so violent and savage. Things get better in history. Things are so totalitarian right now, mostly because of technology. The technologies that are being developed by these billionaires are some of the worst things ever. Musk, Zuck, Trudeau, a bunch of people technically deserve to be hanged, but out of redemption, they should just fucking admit everything and go to prison. People are causing chaos if we're not going to prison. There needs to be intractable trauma studies in prisons with psychedelic therapy with psilocybin mushrooms, because I don't even want anyone to die. People die all the time, but there's no reason to want people to die if you know that. So take that as a riddle. Because people want me to always say riddles because I used to be mysterious. I'm more literal and specific than ever. I'll explain even that. If you don't care that people die all the time, then there's no reason to want to kill anyone, because the reason you want to kill people is because you don't want to die. It's that simple. That's all the root of violence. You want to kill people because you don't want to die. It's that simple. And most of the time, there's not even a threat. That's how delusional human beings are. And yes, that babbling energy is how I see everything. Things don't make any sense. Things don't have to make sense, because what you mean by sense is some sort of linguistic thing based on how you read letters in a certain sequence and spacing in a certain sequence. As Yuji said, Eugene Krishnamurti, you have to understand, is a good example of someone who was trying to be extremely scientific, and he was just basically science fiction a lot of times. He felt like an android and was saying things to try to seem badass in an android, but behind the curtains, he was always laughing and saying, "These people are fucking idiots." So discover on Lectures Beyond Beyond a bunch of unreleased footage. There's so much footage of this guy taking like selfies of himself and saying, "These people are idiots." And they're already discovering it. There is so much footage of Yuji Krishnamurti. I love this guy. He should be blown up out of any mystic because he's always decimating a lot of bullshit. That's the most necessary function right now for humans. He was always behind the curtain saying these people are idiots. Because they would go to his house, they wouldn't listen to anything he said. He would even say, "I'm not a guru. India is a spiritual shitland." No, he would say, all these, the Buddha was caused military violence. He literally said Buddhism caused military violence. It really did. The Buddha caused military violence. He did. It has some Buddhism has the most advanced and ridiculous and tragic military history of all time. You'll find some book unreleased. It's under a different pen name by Manly P. Hall, called "The True History of Buddhism." It's his most brilliant work. I've never even read this guy, but he wrote it more poetically. Like, I love "Thus Spoke Zarathustra." I don't even know what it meant, but a lot of it, but it's so brilliant. I love poetry. It has more information content. Um, but what I'm saying is so high information because basically I'm beyond even my poetic phase right now. I don't even understand what's happening in my being, but it's amazing because I always feel happy and healthy and in tune. And I feel like a lot of this, like, this is the extent I've had to go to be with crimes. Yeah, so see you guys later. Please read my book, Elephant Tusk. I wrote it for your asses.